Have you ever been stuck in a meeting trying to explain a technical concept to a non technical audience and watching as their eyes glaze over? Believe me, we have all been there. Today, I'm going to be sharing a framework that will change the way you communicate technical risk forever. As a cybersecurity leader, one of the most significant challenges that you may face is communicating technical risk to non technical stakeholders, such as executives, board members, and other business leaders. The truth is, the technical aspects of risk management can often be a barrier to effective communication, which can lead to misunderstandings, misaligned priorities, and inadequate resource allocation. So today, I want us to explore the importance of translating technical risk into business language. So I'll be introducing you to a communication framework that will help you to bridge the gap so you can communicate with business stakeholders and ensure that your communication becomes effortless. One of the things I need you to know is that the problem most times is that technical risk is expressed in terms of vulnerabilities, threats, and the likelihood of exploitation, which can be overwhelming for non technical stakeholders. The excessive use of technical jargons can lead to a lack of understanding, which makes it difficult for business leaders to make informed decisions about risk management. I want you to know that, on the other hand, all that business leaders are concerned with is the impact of risk on the organization's bottom line, their reputation, and the strategic objectives. Believe me, all they want to know is how technical risk affects the business, not the technical details. So, what is going to be the solution? For us to be able to address this challenge, I'm going to give you a communication framework that translates technical risk into business language. This framework consists of four key components. The first component is what is called risk contextualization. What this does is that it helps you to provide the context to technical risk by explaining the potential impact on the organization's strategic objectives, the reputation, as well as the bottom line. The second component is risk quantification. This helps you to express technical risk in terms of business metrics, such as potential financial loss, customer impact, or regulatory non compliance. The third key component is what is referred to as risk prioritization. Now, you need to prioritize technical risk based on business criticality, the likelihood, potential impacts as well, ensuring that the most critical risks are usually addressed first. Now, the last key component is risk storytelling. With risk storytelling, you use narrative techniques to convey technical risk in a way that resonates with business stakeholders. What you are going to be doing is you're going to be highlighting the potential consequences of inaction. Now, let's use this framework in application. I want us to consider a scenario where you need to communicate the risk of a potential data breach to the executive team. A technical statement or a technical risk statement will say something like, our vulnerability scanning tool has identified a critical vulnerability in our web application, which could allow an attacker to access sensitive customer data. Now, let us translate that risk statement using the framework. The first key component, risk contextualization. What you want to do is explain how it affects the business objectives or the organization's reputation. So you say something like, a data breach could compromise our customers' sensitive information, damaging our reputation and potentially leading to regulatory non compliance. Let's look at the second component, risk quantification. You use this to explain it in terms of the business metrics, such as the finances. Let's say something like the potential financial impact of a data breach could be up to $1 million in fines and remediation costs, not to mention the potential loss of customer trust and revenue. Now, let's look at the third key component, the prioritization of the risk. What you will do with this is to reprioritize the risk so that they understand the criticality of how it can affect the business. So you say something like, given the criticality of this vulnerability and the potential impact on our business, I recommend that we prioritize patching this vulnerability within the next 48 hours. Now, let's look at the last key component, risk storytelling. What you're going to be doing with this is that you're going to be using narrative techniques to explain while using all the three components that we have explained above. Something like, imagine a scenario where our customer sensitive information is compromised and we are faced with a class action lawsuit. The reputational damage would be irreparable and our business would suffer significantly. By addressing this vulnerability, we can prevent this scenario from becoming a reality. You have given them the contextualization, the prioritization, the quantification as well by showing them what the organization intends to use. You have also given them how it can affect not only the organization's reputation, but what they will need to pay in terms of finances. You have also let them understand the priority and the criticality of how it is going to affect the business and what you need to do. The cybersecurity leader, you need to understand that translating technical risk into business language is crucial for effective communication with non-technical stakeholders. The communication framework I just explained provides a structured approach to conceptualizing, quantifying, prioritizing, and telling the story based on the technical risk. What this will do is that it will ensure that the business leaders understand the impact of the risk on the organization. By applying this framework, you can bridge the gap between technical and business stakeholders, enabling informed decision making and adequate resource allocation to manage technical risk. Ultimately, this leads to a more resilient and secure organization that can thrive in today's complex and ever-evolving threat landscape. My challenge for you today is to create different technical risk statements, then use the communication framework to translate it so that it becomes more explanatory to your non-technical stakeholders. This is my message for you today. You've got the framework. Now it's time to put it into action. Go out there and communicate technical risk in a way that not only resonates with your business stakeholders, but also puts you in a position to advise your organization on the cybersecurity decisions that will drive growth, innovation, and success. Believe me, the impact will be profound. It's a season of change. I'll see you in the next video.